All right, class, I want to share with you one of your colleagues and how they conceptualized Helen through a CBT lens as a guide of what I'm looking for your final paper. And so here we see, and I did not ask permission for the student, that's why I'm hiding this person's name. But I want you to see how this student was able to very specifically tie Helen into a CBT construct. And this is what I want for your paper. If you just give me CBT interventions, such as creating an automatic thought record, you're going to get marked down because it is easy to just copy and paste the answers from the textbook into your paper. I want to see you actually apply it to the case. And so I'll show you how your fellow colleague did this. Okay. So do you see here how this person used a CBT concept and then gives a definition of how Helen was showing through her behavior this through this concept. So here we go. Helen has several distorted cognitions. One is overgeneralizing. She says she will be poor if she fails one exam. So instead of saying Helen has distorted cognition, such as overgeneralizing, he or she gives a specific example of that. Here we go. The second, similar to the first, is magnification, as seen in the fact that if Helen fails in college, she will be a cleaner or a failure in her own eyes. Perfect. Along the distorted thinking, Helen reports that she wants to be social. However, her stress about everything causes her to withdraw and feel unable to participate how she would like, which becomes a reverberated issue on distorted thinking. Said that right? Okay. And then this student specifically identified the schizoid schema and how that was playing out, which was creating distance from others. All right. Now I want to go into the treatment goals. This is so crucial, guys, for your paper, is following this type of format. So the student says a goal for Helen is to decrease anxiety symptoms about the lecture hall and college classes. So that's an example of specifically tying in what Helen is displaying into the treatment goal. So don't just copy and paste the goals from Gayhart's textbook, such as decrease anxiety symptoms. I want to see it very specifically tied to Helen. Well, and for the final paper, I think it's Rachel or Rebecca. Okay. And then also more specific is that this goal is due to Helen's lecture hall phobia, which does not allow her to do what she wants. Helen's desire to succeed, but her anxiety disorder prevents her from functioning. Perfect. Here's another one. Decrease compulsive schemas to increase self-acceptance and self-awareness, to allow the client to prioritize her desires and become aware of her thoughts, and then give a specific example. This goal is due to Helen having a very high standard for her own life and one that is imposed upon by her family. Perfect. If Helen could prioritize her objectives, she can function in a way more suitable for her. Perfect. And then here is another one about self-isolating. And then the specific behaviors is that how her behaviors and her thoughts are causing her to isolate, and how she wants to be more social, but she is unable to. All right. Now we have here the actual intervention. So don't just say systematic desensitization, plug Helen in. This is what the student did. He or she said, with the primary counselor, the client will participate in a systematic desensitization to decrease the phobia and anxiety toward the lecture hall and college classes. Very appropriate use of this intervention because it ties it into exactly what Helen is going through. Over 3 stages spanning a month each, the client will learn relaxation techniques, create a hierarchy of anxiety triggers, and work through the hierarchy until the client's anxiety decreases from a 9 to a 0. Perfect. Another one. Oh, and then it ties it even more. This intervention is due to Helen's extreme anxiety and phobia tendencies toward the lecture hall in her classes. A behavior technique would most effectively allow Helen to function at her desired level. Boom. Next one. The client will participate in the Socratic method and guided discovery to decrease her compulsive schema. And very specifically, tie that to what she was exhibiting. The said intervention is due to Helen's widely exaggerated perception of her success due to the father's influence on her cognition. This tactic will allow the client to think through the results of a few mistakes and failures, which are unlikely to be detrimental to her desired success. Very specific, pulling it apart. So I'm hoping that this example will help guide your final paper. I'm still seeing in some of your case conceptualization forms that you're being very generic. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you're generic in your final paper and you're not showing me mastery of how to actually apply that to Rebecca or Rachel's case, you will be marked down. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. As always, I am here for you all.